live and direct in just a second from beautiful Virginia, USA, where she makes her home. The incomparable Daphne Maxwell Reid is here, gracing us with her wit and wisdom and her presence. Legendary actress, comedian, model, of course, Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, most known for. But let me tell you, her career is extraordinary. She has done everything, continues to do everything. She is really enjoying life too. She's in a real sweet spot right now where life is really good where she is in Virginia with her husband, Tim Reid, who you know is another prolific star, another wonderful television veteran, and so much more. We're so honored to have Daphne with us here on the program today. She is a ray of light. She's a gem. She's somebody who loves to give back. She is somebody who really cares about life. And of course, there she is with Tim. We have so many great things to share with you. Gracing the cover, the first Black woman ever to grace the cover of Glamour magazine, breathtaking beauty extraordinaire there. Appearances on The Love Boat. Figured we would throw that in. What a segue that is from the Glamour magazine, right? But a lot of fun. Hill Street Blues. I know you guys know from Fresh Prince, of course, but she's been in everything. Even this great Christmas special, The Business of Christmas. So many great shows. Snoops, of course, with Tim, Simon and Simon. These are just some of them. And of course, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which another iconic show from the 90s. Of course, getting together for reunions and all kinds of great things. But, you know, gracing the cover of not only TV Guide, but Jet on several occasions as well. And also a more recent production, Jacqueline and Jilly, that has received acclaimed commentary and reviews. Of course, there is Daphne and Tim. They've been married over 40 plus years. They are both super talents and American treasures. In addition to everything else, something you might not have known, she is a wonderful moderator too. There she is on C-SPAN and sort of a historian as well. And there's all these different things that she's got her hands in, which I think are absolutely fantastic. And she also is a designer. As much as she is a brilliant actress, she is a designer. She is a photographer. She is, oh my God, she is there. I thought I was busy. We were just talking about how busy we are. She's an author, a multi-published author, a comedian, former model as well. She does it all, and she is just absolutely fantastic. And no, she didn't write this and fax it to me. Her mother didn't send me any of this. This is coming from the heart. I've always admired her work, and she really is absolutely extraordinary. So we are very excited to really welcome her to the show with style, and I hope you guys will as well. And here we go. We are welcoming the incomparable Daphne Maxwell Reid to the Jim Masters Show. Welcome, Daphne. It's a pleasure to have you here. That's the Queen wave.
So
I love
lovely
that.
to be here with you, Mr. Masters, and thank you for that lovely introduction. It was just marvelous.
You are very, very welcome.
And how are you doing?
Oh, I tell you, this is really beautiful to have you here. Everything is beautiful. We're having a great day. And all of our viewers who call themselves, as you and I were chatting before you went live, the Lovity Squad, they're all here. They're welcoming you to the show as well, live and in style, which we love too. Thanks for all the great comments, gang. So it is so nice to have you here. And again, you know, that was just really the short list of your extraordinary career, Daphne. How are you today? How are things going? You know, you're really in a nice, as I said, sweet spot there, living in Virginia. You have a production company. You're still very involved. You have a lot of beautiful designs that you're surrounded with. You're a designer. Life's treating you well. It's well earned too.
Life is good. I am in a great place. It's been a good year already. I've done a lot of shows already this year. So I'm taking the summer on a pause and just chilling out for a little while. So we get back busy again in August. I've just been full of joy. That's what I think is the most rewarding part of being at this stage in my life is that I'm full of joy.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that one of the most glorious things that you could say? Peace, joy, um, levity as we call it, because you've worked, as has Tim, you've both worked extremely hard and still do in one of the most demanding fields. And you and I were chatting, I work in television and radio as well, and I know what it's like and what it takes to always be out there and to be working and fine tuning and perfecting and always running and jumping and all the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it. Early on for you, I know, of course, you grew up in New York City in Manhattan on the West Side and across from Lincoln Center, right?
We watched them build it. Yeah. Yep.
I've done a
Yep.
lot of work for PBS WNET Channel 13, which is on the corner of 66th and Broadway there as well. And
We're
that's a
about two
beautiful,
blocks
beautiful
away from
area.
where I 2 blocks from where I grew up.
Right
64th and Amsterdam. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great spot. That's a great spot. So growing up in Manhattan, in the city, what were some of those influences maybe within the family or within school that sort of pointed you in the direction of wanting to go into the arts, wanting to be able to express yourself, go into entertainment early on?
Didn't happen early on. I was a scholar. I went to the Bronx High School of Science, which was one of the top 5 high schools in New York. So I was on the path to being an erudite young woman. But in between all my studying and going to school up there, I was spending weekends with a group called the Group Theater Workshop, which was run by Robert Hooks and had amazing talent down there. And they eventually became the Negro Ensemble Company. But I was doing that. I was singing in the All City Choir. I was just living any kind of life that you can live in New York, all the opportunities and all of the cultural juice that's all
Yeah.
over New York. It was a great place to grow up. I didn't think in the 60s when before I left New York, I didn't think that a Black woman could make a living being an actress. So this was not on my radar. I see
Right.
they're working very hard, the 2 or 3 that I see, and they're not making very much money. So I don't think this is a career path for me. And I didn't pursue it. I went away to college and studied interior design and architecture. And while I was there, I got discovered because of a photograph that my junior high school English teacher submitted to 17 magazines. And it was a full page real girl issue. It used to have the big format 17 magazines, and this was back in 67, I believe, in January. And I
Yeah.
was one of 6 girls from all over the country who were outstanding in whatever category they were. It was the Betty Crocker Bake Off winner. It was baton twirling champion of Ohio. It was me. I was a scholarship winner. I had a National Merit Scholarship. And they took pictures and feeded us, took us all over New York, wouldn't let me go home, but uh, took us all over New York.
Right.
And it turned out to be a full page picture in 17 magazine. And Eileen Ford,
Is that
who
it?
was,
Is-
yes, that's it. Yeah, and
Wow.
there's
Look at that.
more to that picture than I can talk about in 2 minutes because that outfit is by the McCall Pattern Company, who I eventually, 25 years later, got to do a pattern collection and worked for. So it's all a very small little world that I had, but it was just a world full of opportunities.
There you go.
And very good
See?
So small world, starting off not knowing anything about design or anything. I just had been making my own clothes from the time I was a little girl. So I
So
got
this was
this.
pivotal. When this
That
happened, this
was
was a
that
pivotal
was it.
moment.
And
Yeah.
that Eileen Ford saw that, and she asked me to sign with her. And I was in school in Chicago, and she's in New York.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh yeah, sure, okay, this will be fun." And she attached a mentor to me, a woman named Amy Green. And I would get calls at school. She said, "Come to New York on Tuesday. I got a shoot for you." Okay. So I would go from Chicago to New York round trip on
Mm.
student airfare for $25. That's how
Wow.
long ago that was. And I would do these jobs for a couple of hours and I'd pop back on a plane and go back to school.
Mm.
So that happened for a couple of years. And one time I came and sit on the window, just put this jacket on, to put your hair to the side. And, no makeup, just put some mascara and some lip gloss on. Just sit here. A man came in, the photographer came in with a camera. I don't think he took a whole roll of film. And 3 months later, I'm walking down the street and that's my picture on the cover of Glamour magazine. I had no idea
Ah,
that that little 15-minute photo shoot was going to be that. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time on a lot of occasions,
yes.
and was
That
blessed. I was blessed.
that's a
They told me,
very
to do this job, you gotta
yeah.
smile. I went, I can
Yes.
do it. I can do
It's a fantastic photo. It's a very fresh look. You know what I mean? It's a fantastic capture
that. Thank
for the
you.
photographer. And again, this is a very historic moment in your life, but also in the industry because you were the very first Black woman to actually be on the cover of Glamour magazine, right? Which is
In the
incredible.
United States, yes,
Yeah,
there was a
yeah.
college issue of Glamour in Canada, and there was somebody who superseded me.
Everybody's saying great photos, love the cover, love the photos, beautiful then, beautiful now.
Thank you so much. But
That's
my life
really
has just
amazing.
been a series of beautiful being in the right places at the right time and learning all I could learn while I was there. So I've spent a lot of time looking behind the camera and wondering what those folks did back there. And in knowing what they're doing, I can give them a better job of what I'm doing. So
Exactly.
I just happened to get into the business and kept being in the business, never having as a child desired to do this. It was just what happened when you take a left and not a right.
That's right, exactly. Yes, and
Like Yogi Berra says, if you get to a fork in the road, take it.
take it. That's right, exactly. I always love that phrase from him. Um, you also there was somebody that was also beloved in the industry who was a pivotal person in opportunities or at least presenting opportunities or direction, and that's the wonderful actor Robert Conrad. Tell us
Yes,
about how he was really essential and really spotted you and said, "Hey, follow me."
basically, yes. I was still modeling when I graduated from college. I was modeling in Chicago a lot and started doing commercials. So my agent also put me up for whatever comes in town. And Robert Conrad came in town for a show called The Duke that he was
Yeah.
starring in.
Yeah.
And he hired me to be in that show and have a regular role in that show. And we hit it off grandly. He was just a hoot to work with. He was a good buddy. So when I left Chicago and moved to Los Angeles, he had another show called A Man Called Sloan.
That's right.
And I got to town. I said, "Oh, Mr. Conrad, I am here in Los Angeles." He said, "Oh, good. I have a show for you. Next week, go see this agent I got an agent when I got off the plane. I mean, it was all
Wow.
serendipity. And did that show and did some TV movies with him, and then just kept working. I was in the right place at the right time for somebody who looked and acted like me.
That's really amazing, isn't it? To have these opportunities come your way and to be able to seize them in the way that you have. And how did it come where Tim came into your life? I know, of course, he was with WKRP in Cincinnati and so much more, but it wasn't necessarily WKRP in Cincinnati where things started to come together for you guys. How did you meet and how did that all blossom? And congratulations on over what 40 plus years of marriage.
Yeah, I met him in Chicago when I was living there. He was married to someone else, and I was married to someone else, and we just happened to be modeling together or doing a commercial together. And oh, hi, how are you? That was it. And then when I moved out to California, all the Chicago people always gathered together. And one of my Chicago buddies said, "Oh, I saw Tim Reid. I'll tell him you're in town." I said, "Oh yeah, tell him I said hi." He called me and said, "Well, let's have a drink. 5-minute drink." He was on his way somewhere. That 5-minute drink lasted 5 hours, and now it has lasted 43 years.
Wow.
So that was a
Congratulations.
good drink.
That was a good drink. That was a long, stiff drink. And I tell you, that's
He was
fantastic.
doing KRP at the time. So when I would started hanging out with him, I got to know all the people behind the scenes at KRP, and then they put me in the show. And then after KRP was over, a lot of the writers and producers moved over to Simon and Simon, and they put me in the show because it was
Yes,
playing
that's right.
downtown around.
What was it like
And
working on
then,
Simon and Simon?
oh, that they're a blast. I
Yeah,
love Gerald McRaney. Oh, and I see him all the time on all these wonderful shows, and I'm just so proud of him. Cool
absolutely.
guy. Cool.
The viewers are all excited and they're commenting our lovities. They're saying you and Tim are such a beautiful couple. Congratulations. Congratulations on the 43 years. Beautiful couple. Happy anniversary, Daphne and Tim. Lots of levity coming your way here on the Jim Masters Show
Thank
Live,
you. I can take it. Give me
which
more.
we like. Keep bringing it. Keep posting away, gang. Keep posting away. So then from Simon and Simon, take us from there after Simon and Simon's fantastic endeavor. What happened from there for you, Daphne?
Tim and the writer and producer of WKRP in Cincinnati created another show called Frank's Place.
Yes.
And it was the gem of my career. It's my favorite show. It's the one that brings me to tears it was only on for one season, but it was one of the most wonderful experiences that I have had in show business.
Mm. And what was it
Amazing.
about it? What was it, do you think, about that series that still sticks with your heart and soul today, Daphne?
Number one, it was a passion project of Tim's. He wanted to do a show that encompassed the characteristics of all the kind of people he grew up with, who he
Hmm.
never sees on television. So he created these characters. We had the most incredible cast that we
Yeah.
learned so much from and just had such a ball with. And it was the first time that there was a half-hour comedy that
Mm.
was shot without a laugh track. It was shot film style and just gorgeous, rich music and atmosphere and highly accredited. A lot of TV critics still talk about Frank's Place. He said, well, that was a good show, but it was no Frank's Place. It was just a wonderful, wonderful show. And politics got it canceled. So you go.
It's crazy how that happens in these industries, isn't it? You can get something that's critically acclaimed and loved by viewers or what have you, and then behind the scenes, the inner working, somebody doesn't like one thing or one element or one whatever, and all of a sudden, boom, and you're like, wait a minute, this is this is like um
But we were able to convince them to give us another show, and that was Snoops.
that's
And we had a
right.
13-week commitment on a 1 hour show that was based on kind of like the Thin Man or old shows that had the husband and wife getting into trouble and finding
Yes.
ways out of it. So it was really
Yes.
an interesting show and had a lot of fun shooting that show.
What is the advantage when you're doing a show like that to actually really being married? Does that add something to the dynamic, especially with a series like this? Because in this series, you guys played off each other in such a beautiful way that if people didn't know that there was something there, they would assume there is or should be.
It's a blessing and a curse, you know? You get to wake up with them, you get to go to sleep with them, you get to work with them. Take a break. So, be careful of what you ask for. It
One of the
was
things one of the things everybody loves about Daphne is she's real, she's authentic, she's a straight shooter. There's no smoke and mirrors, and that's what's refreshing about you.
no, you can have some really grand days and you can have some that are just hellacious.
Just a
But
little tricky.
so and you do that in a marriage. Now add work to that marriage and you've got more opportunity for great times and hellacious ones. But we
Right.
really show.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. We have another picture here too, which is another beautiful one. This is homecoming at Northwestern, right? And this is another iconic photo and history-making photo as well, isn't it, Daphne?
It is. I was Northwestern University's first Black homecoming queen,
That's
and it was not
incredible.
a great occasion. So
Yeah,
one of the
tough.
stories that I get to tell.
Are you writing a book? Is there a book in the offing? Or because I know
Oh,
you're
no,
a multi-published author.
eventually, I started one and I got
Did
a
you?
good 5 pages into it.
And then said, I need a break.
Oh, say, let me keep living this life before I start just recollecting it.
So Snoops was running, and then that wraps, and then take us from there on a little bit of the journey.
We had a talk show
That's right.
um, called the Tim and Daphne Show,
Yeah.
and we shot that in Baltimore. And we shot 82 episodes. It was a lot of fun, but probably the worst working opportunity I had with Tim
Mm,
because it was such an intense
yeah.
endeavor that
Yes.
we had a lot of,
Yeah. Yeah. The
but we made
demands of it. Yeah.
a lot of demands, a lot of frustrations that came from other places,
Hmm.
but manifest in our interpersonal relations.
Yeah.
But
Was
you
it,
fight your way through it.
I forget, was it live or was it taped, live to
You have
tape?
to say,
Live to tape, right. Yeah. So you had, that's a lot. Yeah. As I know, working in the industry too, I can totally relate that, guests and topics
"Yes,
and everything is quick and now
it
and
is fast, fast, fast." And we did 5 or 6 or 7 a week. It was
makes your head spin, right?
encompassing. Yeah. But
Encompassing.
then
That's right.
we just took a pause
Yeah.
and we moved to Virginia. We bought a farm and we settled in on the farm.
Mm.
Just were, just folks looking out the window at the horses. That's what we did.
And created a production company while there as well, right?
Well, Yeah, my husband's got a lot of dreams, and I'm a facilitator, so I try to help. And he decided, well, since we're going to live in Virginia and since I'm producing my own projects,
Yeah.
why don't we build a studio here? Like, oh, okay. So we got some business people together and we did studies and we found a place where they were going to give us some land and we found somebody to build it and we did it. And we had the first full service film studio in Virginia and also one of the first film studios owned by African Americans since 1940.
That is incredible. That is
What an
fantastic.
adventure.
Yeah, really. Absolutely. Everything that you guys have done, that you've done, has been an adventure, and it's all a learning process. You absorb all the different experiences and you learn and you
Yes.
grow with them, right? And
Yes, you have to learn as you go. You take what knowledge you have, and then you find some people to help you enhance that knowledge and grow with it. We
that's
were
right.
so successful for the first 5, 6, 7 years. We did our own series out of there for Showtime called Links, and it would star
Yes,
Pam Grier.
that's
And it
right.
was a wonderful, wonderful show. We did
Yeah.
22 episodes there in Virginia to show them that it could be done. But we lost a lot of our film clients because a lot of states were and a lot of countries were giving tax credit. So
Ah,
they were going to Canada and North Carolina and wherever they were giving tax credits, and we couldn't get the legislature to understand the return on investment
right.
of having tax credits for the film industry. So eventually we said, okay, we're tired of fighting this. And we said, okay, you got this. We sold the studio, and Tim still has a production company, and he's still doing wonderful work and documentaries and training filmmakers. But I am not in the film production business anymore. I'm in my own design business and photographic business, and I serve on lots of boards. So I'm trying to make a difference for the next generation coming along.
Yes, and you're doing that beautifully because you're so involved. And I wonder if, well, the love was always there early on growing up in New York, but I wonder if some of that love of life and love of people was maybe heightened or enhanced when you were on the Love Boat.
This is the most amazing thing to me. I even read that I was on a Love Boat in my IMDb. I have no
and
recollection of being
and
on the Love Boat.
and there you are, and they've got the
I
freeze frame and the whole
I have never seen the
fabulous
episode.
shot. Haven't seen
I
the
don't
episode, huh?
remember doing it. I don't. It was. I guess I was in a trance. I have no idea.
I tell you, that must have been
I'd
one
love
thing.
to find that episode.
We'll have to hunt for that. Yes, we'll have to definitely hunt for that episode. One thing
Somebody
that I
tell
know,
me where it is, or tell me
y-
that you've seen
which
it.
episode
Because
number
I,
exactly? Exactly right. The one
yeah.
thing that I know you remember well, which was another beloved series, is Hill Street
Oh
Blues.
yeah.
Tell us about being a part of that.
That was early in my career after I had
Yeah.
just gotten to LA, and there were a lot of shows like Hill Street Blues and uh, something in McCormick and A Team, and I did all these little shows that were just popping in the 70s and 80s. And I had a
Yes.
wonderful role, uh, did a couple of episodes of Hill Street Blues, met some wonderful people, Michael and Torian, sadly, that we just lost a couple of weeks ago, and Lynn Whitfield. I have fond memories of Hill Street Blues. I did Cagney and Lacey. I did all these wonderful little shows.
You did. Yeah. So many of them. Did you do the A-Team?
Yes, twice.
Yes, you did do the 18. That's what I thought. What was it like working with Mr. T?
I had to kiss him in one episode. The thought of it freaked him out. I don't know why. But I managed to calm him down and put a kiss on his forehead. Another episode, I walked around with a monkey on my hip. I mean, it was just wild times, but a lot of fun.
The things that you do and do well, it's all in how, you do it. And,
A monkey that was picking at my hair the whole time, on my hip. Somebody get this monkey off
what
of
is this
me.
thing? I'm working with a monkey. I just, how'd this happen? And of course, everybody knows the beloved iconic series on NBC, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, with a fantastic cast, everybody involved, and people still love it today and still revere it and talk about it today. What was it like being a part of that group, that cast at that time on that series? Of course, James Avery, everybody talks about
I
James
know.
too, as one of the great dads on
Love that.
sitcom television. Yeah. What was it like for you and how did that opportunity come about for you?
I was asked when we were, I think we had just gotten through with Snoops,
Yeah.
and my agent says, "Okay, we got a casting call for you for a show, a half-hour sitcom with a rapper." And I said, no, I'm not
Yeah, right.
doing." So I
Right.
said, "I'm going to Virginia." And I did. I
That's right.
left
We've got a
town and went to
farm that
Virginia.
needs tilling.
Oh, had a wonderful time. I turned on the television that fall, and the new shows came on, and this little show with a rapper was so cute. I said, "Oh man, what a cool show!"
Yeah.
And while I was there at the farm, I did some pilots. I did a show called Exposed, which was a wonderful news show that didn't go anywhere.
I
But
remember,
I
yes.
I was flying back and forth to LA, and then I got a call that said, they want you to come and audition for the role of Aunt Vivian on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I said, wait a minute now, there's already a Aunt Vivian on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And they said, would you like to come and audition? I said, I'll be there. So I got there, and it was a 2-week audition. I must have
Wow.
auditioned 5 times. Every time I went, I saw all these women I had never seen before in my life. They were all auditioning for the same part. And I'm going, oh boy. And then I get a call back and I'm going, now who are these women?
Where'd
And
these
then I
people
get a
come
call
from?
back. Okay. And then I got to work with James Avery on an audition. And I said, oh, this would be fun. So when it got down to the 3 of us for the network, I was really hoping I got the job, but
Yeah.
you had to sell it to the
Right.
network. And I
Right.
got to do it with James again, and had to wait overnight to hear the results. And they
Mm.
called me at 10 o'clock the next morning and said, you got the part. And I
Wow.
just cried. I was so happy.
Yeah. I mean, what is that
Oh, and
like
then they
when you get
welcomed
those
me
calls?
like I
Yeah.
had been there the whole time. I got there with 3 dozen red roses in my room and big hugs, and they knew my work from all the shows that I had done before, and I was respected and warmly loved. I fell right into step.
And
And
well developed along
still,
the way too, didn't his character sort of
oh,
developed
he
and
grew.
blossomed?
Beautiful. Yeah, kind of blossomed.
In the beginning, when you
Wow.
watched some of the earlier episodes, you could see where he's mouthing some of the other
Yeah,
actors' words. So
we
you
teased
guys
him about that.
to
Yeah.
right, you don't need to do that. Just follow along. But that was really cool. Yeah, just right.
It
Just
was a wonderful experience, and those people are my family. I mean, I'm very, very close to all of them. James
which
Avery and his wife and Tim and I
yeah.
used to travel together, and when I lost James, I just boohooed, but I'm still very close friends of his wife, and we're like sisters now. So it's really a wonderful extension of what started at Fresh Prince.
And then the opportunity to have the reunion too, which was a whole
What a
new thing.
blast.
What was that like to have the reunion as well?
Oh, we had all been together on different occasions, but not all of us together. It would be four of us, it would be three of us, it would be five of us, but not everybody in the same place at the same time. And when Will invited us to do that, I said, I will be there. And it was the most fun. He put us all in separate hotels so we wouldn't reunionize before we got to set. And we were treated like kings and queens. It was fabulous. And when we got to the set, it was actually a family reunion.
Mm,
It was so moving and
yeah.
so wonderful to have everybody together. It was a highlight. It was quite a high, and it was during the pandemic. So it was a triple highlight.
What do you think about that series? Because there's so many shows, so many series, but this one it took. This one stuck. This one's still in syndication. People still love it, still revere it on many levels. What is it about? I mean, there's a multi-layered answer probably to this, but what are some of the things you think really caused this to be such a beloved series? What are some of those elements that you think made it work?
Some of the things were, of course, the talent involved. Will Smith has the energy of nine energy bunnies, energizer bunnies. I mean, he's just, he is dedicated, professional. He's a hard worker and a good businessman. Another thing is that the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is really a fish out of water story, which is really pretty standard. But what we had in that group were five different viewpoints on whatever this challenge or the situation was for that episode. We had Uncle Phil's viewpoint, we had Aunt Viv's viewpoint, we had Tatiana's viewpoint, we had Karen's viewpoint. We
Right.
just we came from so many different directions, but it turned into the solving of a family problem. And that was a universal idea, I think, that really
Yeah.
struck a lot of households. These are so many different opinions on something, but you come together as a family and you make things work. And I think that helped it become an iconic status, but it was definitely the energy and the charisma of Will Smith.
So you had the opportunity to have the reunion, and then also there is the Bel Air episode or
Yeah.
that fantastic opportunity that happened on HBO. Tell us about that.
When we had the reunion, he introduced us to the young man who had done I guess it was an Instagram little movie or maybe a YouTube
Oh
little
yeah.
movie about
Yeah.
his version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a drama. And Will had gone into business with him and gotten the show picked up on HBO. And he said, I want you guys somehow involved in this. So we said, let us know. I got a call halfway during their season and said, we want you to be on episode 10. I said, great. What am I playing? Since you already have it. So what they did was brought myself and Will Smith's original mother from the show. Her name just flew out of like it. Did that mom on the same episode, and we are grantees of a fellowship in the art world for what I call, who I deemed Aunt Viv 3.0. So I had a fabulous time shooting that episode. It
And
was
some of the
wonderful.
lovelies were saying, I think you pretty much said it earlier, but everybody tries as much as you can because everybody has busy lives to stay in touch.
Yep, we stay in touch whenever we can. I see Karen and Tatiana mostly. I see show a lot of times, and I see Alfonso a lot as well.
Oh yeah. He's
And
had a great
every
career
once in a
too.
while, we'll see Will.
And
So we
Alfonso's had a
both
great
do.
career, huh? Hosting the
Yeah,
blooper show and game shows, and he's been
and he's a
busy.
director.
Director,
He
yeah.
directed sitcoms. He's just another Energizer bunny.
So are you, and we have some evidence that you had some really good times on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There you go.
We had a blast.
Yeah, that's great when when you have that happen, and it provides
That
that
was
longevity.
that was the first show that I had ever done in front of a live audience. Now I did WKRP twice, but we shot it film style. So the first day I walked on the Fresh Prince set, I'm going, okay, this is going to be new for me.
Right.
And as soon as the first scene was over, I said, okay, I can do this.
Right,
But there's a
exactly.
whole timing issue that you have to do when you're doing a live show because you have to wait for the audience to respond. And
Yes,
you don't want to start talking and they're finishing laughing about what you said last. So you get the rhythm
exactly.
of it, and it's really a blast to do.
Absolutely. One of the things I like too is I mentioned this earlier, which the viewers might not realize, the lovely viewers, is you're also a moderator too. You like to do speaking and sharing. And here's one when you were speaking on C-SPAN. Tell us about this and being able to.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have so many speaking engagements. People come up to me and say,
This wasn't a
"You
dream sequence, was
our
it?
event, and I took a picture. Do you remember?" I'm going,
And
"Nope."
you were there, and it looks like this was broadcast on C-SPAN 3 History, actors and moderator,
Okay.
and there was something. But do you
I
like
don't.
doing that work? Do you like going out in the community and speaking on
I
various
love
topics?
doing public
Yeah,
speaking. Love
that's what.
doing it. Yep, yep, yep. And I love talking to um, college students, high school students, people who are interested in pursuing entrepreneurial adventures. I love talking to them and getting them to jump off the cliff and to pay attention to the life that they're living and all the details around their journey that makes their journey rich. And that's what I try to do with my photography. I take pictures of doors, only doors. People say,
Yes.
"What?"
No, but
I
that's a
said,
cool thing. No, that's yeah. Tell us about
it's a
that.
metaphor for life. And if you think about a door, then you think about adventure or curiosity or opportunity. It's all represented by going through a door.
That's
And what
right.
I love about doors comes from my architectural background. I like the details, the craftsmanship, the color, the textures, the what God does to the doors. And I love to understand the culture around the formation of that door. Wherever this door is, there is a culture around it that is rich and which I want to explore. I want to know what they eat. I want to know how they live. I want to know what they wear. So every time I go on an adventure for my photography, I have a blast because I
Yeah.
absorb. I think living to me is the same, is equal to the word learning. I like to continually explore and learn as I spend each day. I want to know, oh, how do you do that? Oh, oh, look at that. Now, how did he do that? I want to know.
Exactly. I like that. So you're curious. You like to figure things
I'm
out. Like you
very,
said, you studied architecture and design early. And before I went into broadcast media and all and entertainment, I studied architecture and design too. And I love architecture. Whenever I'm in a city with family and friends and you're walking along, I always tell everybody, look up. Because everybody, when they're in cities, they look down, I guess, so they don't trip.
Right.
But look up and look at
Look,
the top of the
look at the
buildings and the spires and the top of the church and the way the light is, the sun is bouncing off the glass there and onto the beam there and going
yeah.
over a bridge. Look out at the vista. We're on this feat of architectural and engineering marvel that we're driving on or walking on or biking on. Now look at the gift of the view, whatever it may be, over the bridge. And do you still love architecture as well? Is that something that's still?
I do. But I want to encourage people. I do with my doors, and when I talk about doors, when public speaking or selling my books about doors, I want to encourage them to notice all the details in their life. The journey from A to B is just the journey from A to B. When you get there, you got to start another journey. So pay attention to all the details along the road of A to B, because that makes your life rich. It gives it a gusto that you don't get just by focusing on the end product. So I try to encourage people to dream, to look, to understand, and to stay curious. And don't worry about the path that you take. It will lead you to some lessons, even if it doesn't lead you to where you want it to go. So take that path, and when you get there, you will have learned something that will help you get to where you want to go. And it might be on a path that you never thought you would take.
That is so absolutely true and so beautifully said. The infinity that you have for doors is something similar to and akin to the affinity that I have for chairs. I
Ah,
find something with chairs and humanize the chairs, and we've got a chair collection actually. And whenever I'm at somebody's house, I'm always looking at the chairs, the shapes, the what materials were used and
yeah,
the angles and everything. And chairs to me are similar to what you're getting from doors. Kind of cool, huh?
details. It's detail.
Yes,
It's so enriching.
it
Not just,
really
oh, that's
is.
good. No, that's not just the chair. Somebody planned that chair. Somebody had the creative know-how to get the angle right, to get the shape of it, to bend the wood just so, to use the right fabric that goes with that wood, that goes with this metal. It's all a creative process, and I love creatives. That's what I focus on when I'm running through my Instagram. What are they
Yeah.
making now?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm a creative and like you are as well, and I fully get that. Are you good? Do you have a good sense of direction? Are you good with directions? Me too.
Yeah,
And I think,
you can't
and
lose me.
when you said earlier, it's noticing all those finite details. It's because you do and always have, and I do as well. We're really good with directions and don't even
Yeah,
really need a map or anything because the first time we went there, we looked at all these different shapes and colors and angles and the tree over there and the church steeple
yeah.
there and the way that road angles and all. That was a study the very first time. While everybody else in the back seat was sleeping, we were looking like it was a journey and absorbing that. So uh, we're very good for directions.
Yes, very good for directions. I try to encourage people, my granddaughter, who when I'm running around with her, I'm going, do you know where you're going? Okay, pay attention because you may have to do this yourself.
That's right.
And she's getting that, oh, I don't need to be just watching my phone. I'm going, no, you need to be watching this stuff around here.
Right. And they just start doing the Diana Ross, do you know where you're going to? Um, you have, and
Yes.
we'd be remiss if we do not, speaking about creativity. And I know our
Mhm.
audience, thanks everybody for all the comments, watching live and all the passion that you're having during the show right now. little extra nuggets we're throwing in here that you probably didn't know about, Daphne, that you're learning, which is fantastic because we like to have a full, well-rounded conversation. You have some beautiful things that you've created that are behind you. Tell us about the room you're in and the fabulous creations that are right there around you.
This is my studio where I create. And I had special furniture made for it so that I could store things the way I wanted to. And I have been doing photography for a long time, but because of the pandemic, I couldn't travel internationally like I've traveled. So I took the pictures that I had used before and created a fabric. And I learned how to digitally print fabric. And I created these tote bags with a signature lining in them that says Daphne style and a pocket in there. Oh, let's see if we can get this light to stop glaring. Da, da, dee, dee, dee. And they have been selling very well. I have a website and I sell these on the website. And I also create Chinese brocade jackets. And this is the latest one that I'm creating. Just came off the machine last night. I'll finish that up tonight. And I sell those as well as custom made coats. And I am known for my style of Chinese brocade coats because I've been making them for years and I was wearing them myself and not making them for anybody else until my husband encouraged me to do a line for his fashion show that he has as a fundraiser for his institute. And I did a line of the coats and it sold beautifully right off the runway. So I said, oh, either I'm going to be strapped to the sewing machine or I'm going to do this as custom work. I'm not doing this for a living. So just, I call them art pieces. That way I can get away with not having them manufactured. They're art pieces that I make.
That's fantastic. That is so beautiful. How long have you been doing that?
I've been sewing since I was 9. So a
Wow.
long time. I make most of my own clothes. This was my birthday coat that I made that I have on now. Piece of fabric I found. I said, oh, isn't that pretty? So I made a coat. I do that. Just, I'm a fabricaholic.
That is so fantastic. And we have the website right there too, which is really fantastic. And
It's
there
easy
again,
to
you can,
find.
yeah,
DaphneMaxwellReid.com. And I made masks, of course, throughout the COVID blast. I still make them. Designed that fabric that says vaccinated on it. And that's a cookbook, which is the last thing that I had published.
Grace and Soul and Mother Wit. Tell us about the cookbook.
It's a collection of recipes that I've gotten from people that I've worked with, people that I love. And each recipe has a story about where it came from. And it also has the utensils that you'll need to make whatever the recipe is. These are some of my coats. Those are 2
Beautiful.
versions of my Chinese coats. And then one year I made a line of linen swing coats that they're all gone. They went very
That
well.
sell out quickly, huh?
Yeah. And then I did a collaboration with a writer here in Richmond, a woman who writes beautiful little books. And she writes all these wonderful little inspirational phrases. And I said, why don't we do a set of cards, note cards, that have your words and my photos? And that's what we did.
That is so fantastic. That is great. Really, again, very creative. This website here, again, folks, Daphne Maxwell Reid.com. You can learn about all of these wonderful things that Daphne's been doing and continues to do as a wonderful photographic artist, designer, and so much more, as well as a brilliant actress. It's a great looking website too. It's very user friendly and
I made it myself.
that is fantastic. Tommy Reed, different spelling, R-E-E-D. As a Christian, I make designs unto Jesus Christ, my Savior and Lord. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. You do that. Also a fabric-holic. Fabric-holic.
Never.
Yeah, I
I'm a
love that.
What are they saying here? There we go.
Glenn is asking, do you have any memorabilia from any of the shows that you've been on?
Oh, of course I do. Of course I do. I've got every script I've ever used, and I've had them all leather bound. So just got books and books and books and books and books of all the scripts that we've had for all of the shows that we've done.
And again, the website is where you can get the bags, right? Because Linda in Florida is asking, I love time bags. Where can we get one of your totes? And that is at the website.
Just go there. It's PayPal or credit card. Do what you need to do to get the money to me. I'll get the bag to you.
It's all in the bag, gang. Would love to purchase one of the bags. Yeah. I think
wonderful.
I think
Please do.
yeah, they're all loving it. They're all cool, love it.
Great.
Thank you. You're spending time. Yeah, I love all this. This is great. Again, it's ever creative. One thing that you've done is you have found multiple ways in your life to express your creativity, which is great.
All the gifts that God gave me. I am manifesting these gifts in order to honor my maker.
Which is exactly what it is, right? You didn't just stay in the acting world or this or that. You really, in a full circle way, have tasted life on many different levels, which is very inspiring to others who might also look to somebody like a Daphne Maxwell Reid, who recalls these beloved television series and everything else. And then they're watching this and like, my God, she's done all these other things. She didn't live like this Hollywood life. And now she's up and,
I raised 3 children. I have 3 grandchildren. My son is a PhD in biochemistry. I have another son who's a VP in the music industry. We have some really talented folk for children.
It all starts in the home. Crystal says, I feel like we're talking to our aunt. This conversation is such an awesome experience. You are. Aunt Viv's in the house.
Viv's in the house.
What are some of the blessings? Well, I think we've talked a lot about it, but what are some of the continued blessings and joys in your life that propel you to want to create and stay connected with everybody in the beautiful way that you have and do and are, Daphne?
I have wonderful granddaughter who is in college 5 minutes from me, and I get to spend a lot of time with her and help her grow into the fabulous woman she's going to become. And I have a son who is an Iron Man 3 times over, and a grandson who wants to fly airplanes and has been flying them, and he's 16 years old. I've got lots of joy and lots of mess with my hair and lots of stuff going on that just keeps me going. And they're still calling me to come and play on television. So I continue to do that as often as I can.
Are there any things coming up that you're excited about in the next few months?
I think I might be doing another episode of Bel-Air.
Wow.
I've got a trip to Venice, so I'm going to do some more photography in October. Those are the major things I have coming up soon.
Is that the Venice, Italy, or the California?
Oh, I only do international. I don't do any domestic doors. You already have those. Now my battery is running down, so I've got like
funny.
7%, and it's gonna go to.
And you have maximized it. You have maximized your percentages. You truly are a joy, and There's somebody here that usually pops in towards the latter part. Mr. George Byrne just wanted to
Hi,
say
George.
hello. He's got his cigar and
Oh,
he's got his red pocket square. He's always dapper. And he
he
pops
is.
in. My aunt collected dolls and it got passed down to me. And we bring him in towards the
I
latter
like
part.
George Byrne. And
Oh, yeah.
Gracie.
And Gracie. He said, you knocked it out of the park, kiddo. He loved the conversation. He learned so much. And he sends you all his love as well, as do I. This was really wonderful, Daphne. An honor and a pleasure to have you on our
So good.
show.
It's
Yeah.
been a
And
delight.
I appreciate that. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have definitely with you, Daphne.
Well, the best to you and all the things that you're doing. And to everybody out there, peace.
Absolutely. Love from all the JMS lovities to you, Daphne Maxwell Reid. Taking it right down to 2% left on the phone.
Oh, we got, what are we down to? It's 6%.
Full circle, gang. If you recall, that's how she started the show, with the Queen Wave. And that's how she will exit stage left. Daphne, thanks for all the time. It was really a blessing. You be well. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Keep creating.